welcome back to Gamer Elf's Loft. Come in, kick back, relax, and listen to me ramble. So, I can see these videos are actually getting traction, and I'm over the moon excited. I hope I can bring more and more content like this to your lives every week. Which, speaking of, I would like to say that I will try to do videos twice a week for right now. Give you one on Tuesday and one on Wednesday. Giving you double helpings of Gamer Elf a week. So I hope you're all excited about that. But, that being said, I would like to continue the story of Rasender, the quote-unquote dumb D&D player. So I said in the first video that he wasn't very dumb for being an edgelord murder hobo. But I was wrong in the second, where he took a war domain pack with a god of strategy and just hung back till everyone else was engaged before he would do anything. Saying your strategy is wait until you could capitalize on using 3 sword style when you don't even have that kind of attacks as a cleric, and then as a cleric not even taking healing or buff spells, and be a pure martial focus? I don't get it. Get wanting to change and make these changes to save face for what you did last time, but when you literally do nothing as a cleric, it's appalling, especially for a cleric main as much as myself. Yes, I'm a cleric. Back off. So, as of recording this video, the Rasender Saga Part 3 continued yesterday or 2 days before. I believe it was 2 days beforehand. So we finally have the climactic conclusion of Rasender. So, with that out of the way, I did want to say I actually scored my first sponsorship. And I will say, thanks to Dubby for the sponsor. W prides itself on 100% full transparency and ingredients disclosed. To pack together 10 awesome ingredients to help keep you on top of your game. With over 20 different flavors that help you keep you hydrated and energized for any gaming sesh. I'm personally excited for the Japanese yuzu flavor, but they also have the solo leveling collab, bringing you the Shadow Monarch Surge and Egress Strike flavors, and different solo leveling shaker cups. Use the link in the description or the discount code GAMERELF to get 10% off your order. Thanks again, Debbie, for the sponsor. Now let's get back to the video. I'm actually going to make a correction here. I did not properly read the name the past 2 times. It's from Leadership Other 5524 from D&D Horror Stories with the title D&D Dumb Story Part 3 Electric Boogaloo or Rasender None the Wiser. So, this is Part 3 and probably the most unbelievable of the tale of Rasender. Please note that out of game, Rasender is still a nice guy, and I was still cool with him for other events like nights out and board games. Just never invited him to D&D ever again. And we'd probably still talk if he lived in the same area. I moved for work-related reasons. So, our cast. You can skip if you reproduce the entries. No thank you. Me, DM. Barbarian. Actually fighter/barbarian, but this is short of war veteran type character. Rogue, now fighter rogue, multi-class, assassin and dashing swordsman. Cleric. Actually cleric/rogue, a gnome cleric of the God of Law, Natural Law, Earth, and Authority. Ranger, the long-lost brother of Rogue, who was at first interpreted by other players who had to leave for job-related reasons. About 8 months prior to the story, he adopted the character. Rasender the Wisest, R-Star, now a wizard of the prestigious Amethyst Order, and basically the only way to learn the wizard class on this part of the setting except for 2 to 3 independent and recluse masters or evil demon dealing shenanigans to get prohibited tomes. His character was somewhat a new wizard of the order, just having completed his training and tasked by Maria of Tissia herself, the leader of the order and famous hero, with helping a rising band of adventurers to fight their way through the unexplored ice mountains to the north to find the final destiny of a missing hero. Feeling the envoy might not be up for the task, Maria gave him a potion of fire breathing, a potion of healing, and a total of 4 scrolls, among them specifically protection from cold, featherfall, and spider climb, for obvious reasons. The last one was some attack scroll. Now, for those not into wizards or D&D, the first protects you from all the coldest of frost attacks. The second makes you fall like a plume and take no damage from falling, no test required, and the third makes you capable of walking on walls, no test required. Maria left for Rasender the decision of whether he wanted to take and learn and later memorize the spells. He didn't. Anyway, our group of heroes played a whole session involving their meeting and travels through dangerous lands until Kazar, the latest bastion of civilization before the mountains. All those adventures, although interesting, did not concern our tale of wizardry foolishness, but I mention it so that you can, if you dare, excuse Rasender from his foolishness. Anyway, come the second session of the Mage, they left Kazur on the direction of the mountains, and temperatures started to fall harshly as the cold winds of the north blew. Players who remembered to buy proper clothing also got a small bonus, but of course Rasender and also Barbarian for some reason decided not to. All characters are required to make a fortitude saves, basically your current constitution saves, to endure, avoiding frostbite, and possibly exhaustion penalties. All players but Rogue and Rasender actually make their saves, but Rogue is higher level and takes some significant but not crippling damages. Rasender doesn't also remember to ever use his scroll of protection from cold, and thus ends up falling in battle against common road bandits. He also did not memorize any defensive spells, no arcane armor, no shield, no nothing. After only one attack, a magic missile dealing something like 6 damage to a bandit, Cleric, not wanting to spend his own spell slots that might be more useful later, took Rasender's potion of healing and administered it to our hero. A few hours later, they got to the mountain and it looked like a hard climb, and although they did not have the proper equipment, only Barbarian, Rogue, and Ranger got proper survival and climbing skills. The cold also seemed to get worse, so Cleric asked his god for protection for him and Rogue, casting, you guessed it, protection from elements, cold, and said in character, "Hey, Rasender, I hear the wizards from the Order are resourceful, even the apprentices. Maybe you don't have some spell to protect you from the cold as well?" Rasender looks at character sheet. No. Me, you do remember the scroll of protection from cold? Rasender, oh, right. I cast it? Me, okay. Rasender thus survives a bit more, but it's time for the dreaded climbing checks, with bonuses for the equipment Ranger brought, and they all make it. I'm gonna stop here for just a second and say, Rasender, I've been trying to be hopeful for you. I really have. But you played a murder hobo, then played a war cleric whose strategy was to stay back and let no one attack you, and now you're playing a wizard who has spells of fire breathing, spells of all these other things. You don't take any defensive spells when you have the worst HP pool, when you can get killed by literal wind, to then also forget that the DM is spoon feeding you what you would need to succeed being a squishy class. Do you only go bonk bonk? However, the group fails perception and is ambushed mid-climb by a group of orcs and goblins, a common sight of those parts. A frantic combat starts, with the orcs trying to cut their ropes on the hope that maybe they can recover and steal their equipment. During the combat, of course, new climbing tests are necessary, and Cleric fails, and ends up hanging by the rope, but is saved by Ranger, who courageously cuts himself loose of the rope to reach him. Rogue also fails a roll and dangles. Rasender the Brave tries to be the same and save him as well. Rogue, maybe you can cast... Rasender interrupting. Leroy! I kid. I cut my rope and go save him. And he rolls a natural 1. Rasender is now falling to his death hundreds of meters below. Me, remember you want to cast some spell? You have 1 turn before you hit the ground. 3.5 did not have the concept of reaction yet. Rasender looking at sheet. I cast False Life, a 3.5 spell that gives 1d10 plus level extra HP. Me, make an intelligence check. Rasender. I got it. I cast False Life, so I can resist the foot damage of the fall. Me. Okay. Rasender proceeds to fall to his instant death, taking 10d6 damage versus 12 HP plus 9 extra HP. He got a 6 on the d10 and was at level 3. This was the last time we invited Rasender to play. The epilogue. 3 years later, however, I DM'd another game on the same area of the setting, and 2 of the same players, plus a few others. And as they prepared to climb the Frost Mountains, there was a half-frozen skeletons close to the ground. Players were so sure it was a trap. Bard searched for traps. And Wizard, actually a cleric from the story above, cast Detect Traps and then Detect Magic. Me, you see no traps, but you see that skeleton has 3 arcane scrolls with him. Cleric, now Wizard, I checked the corpse. Perhaps it looks a bit convenient, but the corpse has a scroll of Featherfall, a scroll of Spider Climb, and a scroll of Acid Arrow with him. Cleric. Laughing ensues. End of saga. Rasender, Rasender, Rasender. My poor, poor man / lawyer / nerd. Oh yeah, did you guys forget this man was a lawyer? I just hope it's like small claims court or things of that nature. But I just want to say that being a weeb and a D&D player can go hand in hand. But when one thing doesn't work, I can respect the choice to change. Seeing that this rogue wasn't working, switch to a cleric. See, the cleric isn't getting what you want, switch to a wizard for a glass cannon. But you don't forget your spells. Spells was literally the bread and butter of 2 of your 3 classes. Literally, one of them could do little else but stand there if you don't give them spells. When you're a wizard that has 12 HP at level 3, maybe you don't try and do a James Bond or Jason Bourne rope swing and save someone when a bad trip could knock you out. Or, I don't know, remember you had scrolls for this entire portion. But let's recap. We had a Zorro wannabe rogue that when he found out he couldn't play as Zorro, he became a literal murder hobo with swords, trying to attack any sword wielder in his presence. Then attacks the main captain of the guard of a town they just got to then switch from a rogue to a cleric and wants to use swords and realizes that he still can't be Zorro. You think being a coward and that doesn't heal is a strategy. Then switch to a wizard that forgets about everything on your character sheet and what the DM literally told you that you would need. I have to say that this saga truly turned out to be true. That this player doesn't know what to do if it's not his Zorro cosplay that he wants to do. But if you want to then capture the concept of the character, like Zorro, at least play up the stupid. The whole point of Zorro is he's a very good swordsman, but he's also very, very directionally challenged. Play that side of him. Like, yes, he also wants to fight everything. I think. I haven't watched the show. But, again, he is directionally challenged. That's the main shtick of Zorro, is that he's directionally challenged, but a very good swordsman. But, you know, it happens. But then again, the cleric, my guy, you're playing a cleric. You are a healer first, then damage. You literally did nothing. And unfortunately, we couldn't see what else your wizard could have done, because you went full Looney Tunes and just said, I'll take the fall damage. But that's all from me. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and thank you, Dubby, for the sponsorship. I'd like to say to you all, be safe, be healthy, and enjoy my forest hovel.